So we're going to get the Monopoly game ready so we can play after I record. Okay, everybody, we are going to do the Card Sharks Money Cards game from the Bob Eubanks era. And let's see how well we do. Alright. Got the cards. $200. Your first card's an 8. Ooh. I want to change that card with number 2. Number 2. 8 is now a 10. Ooh, what do you want to bet? $50 lower. $50 lower than the 10. Yes. $250. All of it higher. $250 higher than the 3. You got it. $500. Ooh. I'll bet. Ooh. Remember, you can't change on the side because you already did. Right. Thank you for that. Okay, $250 higher. $250 higher than the 5. You got it. $750. We're going to move up the queen and give you another $400. You now have $1150. All of it lower. $1150 lower than the queen. You got it. $2,300. Change that card, number 1. Number 1. 7 is now an ace. All of it lower. $2,300 lower than the ace. You got it. $4,600. Ooh. Here.
Got ready.
Ooh, it's a tough one. I'll go half of it. $2,300 higher. $2,300 higher than the 5. It is. $6,900. You gotta bet.
Yes.
It's half of it. All of it lower. $6,900 lower than the king. Push. Ooh. Okay, set it up. No, we're no longer. You still have your $1,600. That is a good start. Okay. We're going to do the codes up and now. $200. Your first card's an 8. I'd like to change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 8 is now our king. All of it lower. $200 lower than the king. You got it. $400. All of it lower. $400 lower than the queen. Push. No win, no loss. Still at $400. All of it lower. $400 lower than the queen. You got it. $800. We are going to move the deuce up to the next row and give you another $400. $1,200 is what you have. All of it higher. $1,200 higher than the deuce. You got it. $2,400. Okay, I'd like to change that card with number 1. Number 1. The 7 is now the queen. Good one. All of it lower. $2,400 lower than the queen. You got it. $4,800. Ooh, okay. $2,400 lower. $2,400 lower than the jack. No. You lose half of the money or you did the right thing. All of it lower. $2,400 lower than the ace. You got it. 4,800. All right, we're gonna do the cards again. Start you off for 200. First card's a deuce. All of it higher. 200 higher than the deuce. Push. Ooh. No win, no loss. Still have 200. All of it higher. 200 higher than the deuce. You got it. All of it higher. 400 higher than the 3. You got it. 800. We're going to move the queen up and give you another $400. 1,200 is what you have. All of it lower. $1,200 lower than the queen? No. Alright, we're going to do it again. $200. Your first card's a 3. All of it higher. 200 higher than the 3. Push. No win, no loss. All of it higher. 200 higher than the 3. Another 3. Still no win, no loss. All of it higher. 200 higher than the 3. You got it. 400. Move the 4 up. We need to give you another $400. 800 is what you have. All of it higher. 800 higher than the 4. Right. 1,600. All of it lower. 1,600 lower than the king. No. Today, Mount 200. First card's a king. All of it lower. 200 lower than the king. You got it. 400. All of it higher. 400 higher than the deuce. You're right. 800. Change that card. Number 2. Number 2. It is now a 9. Ooh. What you gonna bet? I'll go half of it lower. $400 lower than the 9. You're right. 1,200. We'll move the 3 up. Give me another 400. 1,600. All of it higher. 1,600 higher than the 3. You got it. 3,200. Change that card. Number 1. Number 1. 7 is now or 10. Ooh, what are you going to do? I'll go $1,600 lower. 1,600 lower than the 10. You're right. 4,800. Okay, I'll go 2,400 higher. 2,400 higher than the 5. You got it. 7,200. You got to bet at least half of it. All of it lower. Lower than the queen. You got it. 14,400. All right, we're going to do the cards again. $200 and your first card's 5. I'll keep it. $100 higher. $100 higher than the 5. Right. 300. I'll change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 9 is now a 7. Ooh. I'll bet 150 lower. 150 lower than the 7. No. You're down to 150. Okay, I'll go all of it lower. 150 lower than the jack. You got it. 300. We're going to move the 4 up right now to give you another $400. $7 what you have. All of it higher. 700 higher than the 4. You got it. 1,400. All of it lower. 1,400 lower than the queen. No. What's wrong with these cards today? Play solitaire for now. So, here. Here. Let's play solitaire for now. So I'm not done recording yet. Alright. $200 in first cards and ace. All of it lower. Lower than the ace for $200. Push. No win, no loss to have $200. Lower. Lower than the ace for $200. You're right. All of it higher. 400 higher than the deuce. You got it. 800. We'll move the jack up and give you another $400. You now have 1,200. All of it lower. 1,200 lower than the jack. No. Oh, these cards.
Thank you. What, the console?
I got hands. Let's make all for now, okay?
Okay. The console on tomorrow?
Yes. 200 first cards of 5.
Piece of hay.
Yes. $100 higher than the 5. Right. 300. Let's change that card. Which one? Number 2. Number 2. 7 is now with 9. Woo. What are you going to do? Half of it. 150 lower. 150 lower than the 9. No. You're down to 150. All of it lower. 150 lower than the ace. You got it. 300. We're going to move the 6 up and give you another 4. 100. You now have $700. Change that card, number 1. Number 1. 6 is now a queen. All of it lower. 700 lower than the queen. You're right. 1,400. 700 lower. $700 lower than the 9. Push. No win, no loss. Still have $1,400. Okay. $700 lower. $700 lower than the 9. No.
Wash
What?
your hands. Get your sit down. Chair.
All of it lower.
But tap windows down. You sorry?
It's, yeah. That second, another 1,400. The cards. Let's still draw with $200 and your first card's a 3. All of it higher. Higher than a 3 for $200. You got it. 400. Let's change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 7 is down at 8. Woo. What are you gonna bet? I'm gonna go $200 lower. $200 lower than the 8. You're right. 600. Okay, I'll go $300 higher. $300 higher than the 6. You're right. $900. We're gonna move the 8 up. I'm gonna give you another $400. You now have $1,300. I'd like to change that card. Which one? Number 1. Number 1. 8 is now a 10. Woo. Okay, I'm gonna go 650 lower. 650 lower than the 10. No. You're down to 650. Okay. 325 lower. 325 lower than the jack. It is. 975. 500 higher. $500 higher than the 6. You're right. 1475. You gotta bet at least half of it. Let's use the last change card. Why don't we? The 8 is now a 3. All of it higher. 1475 higher than the 3. You got it. 2950.
Go over. Don't count.
Cards. 200 your first card's a king. Lower all of it. $200 lower than the king. You got it. $400. Let's change that card number two. Number two. 9 is now a 10. What are you going to do? I'm going to go $200 lower. $200 lower than the 10. It is 600. Ooh, okay. I'm going to try 300 of it lower. $300 lower than the 8. No. You lose 300. You're down to 300. And then we're going to move the jack up and give you another 400. 700. Okay, I'm going to go half of that. 350, that's lower. Lower than the jack for $350. You're right. 1,050. So change that card, number one. Number one. 8 is now a 4. All of it higher. 1,050 higher than the 4. You got it. 2,100. I'm sorry. 1,050 lower. 1,050 lower than the 10. It is 3,150. Got him at least half of it. Change that card. Alright, the 6 is now a 4. You got him at least half of it. All of it higher. 3,150 higher than the 4. There you go. $6,300. Cards have been dealt. $200. Your first card's a 5. $100 higher. $100 higher than the 5. It is 300. Change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 9 is now a 6. Ooh, a little better. What are you gonna do? I'll go 150 lower. $150 lower than the 6. No. You're down to 150. Okay, let's go half of it. 75 lower. $75 lower than the 8. It is not. Well, you're down to 75, but we're going to move the queen up and give you another $400. So you have 475. All of it lower. 475 lower than the queen. No. Alright. Here we go. $200. Your first card's a 5. Okay. 125 higher. 125 higher than the 5. Right. 325. All of it lower. 325 lower than the ace. You got it. 650. All of it lower. 650 lower than the queen. No. You remember we're going to move the ace up. Give me 400. Do it all over again. All of it lower. 400 lower than the ace. You're right. All of it higher. Yeah, you're right. 1,600. Let's change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 6 is now a 7. What do you want to bet? 800 lower. $800 lower than the 7. No. You lose it. All of it lower. 800 lower than the king. Right. 1,600. The cards. $200 and your first card is a 3. All of it higher. $200 higher than the 3. You got it. 400. All of it lower. 400 lower than the queen. You got it. 800. All of it lower. 800 lower than the jack. You're right. 1,600. We're able to do something and give you another $400. Ah, up to $2,000. All of it higher. 2,000 higher than the deuce. You got it. 4,000. All of it lower. 4,000 lower than the queen. No. Oh man. Cards. 200 first cards are 6. Change it with number 1. Number 1. 6 is now a jack. 125 lower. 125 lower than the jack it is. 325. 125 lower. 125 lower than the 6. No. You're down to 200. Ooh. 100 higher. $100 higher than the 7. No. You lose $100. You're down to 100, but we're going to move the 3 up and give you another $400. So you now have 500. All of it higher. 500 higher than the 3. Got it. $1,000. All of it higher. Boy, you got it again. 2,000. All of it lower. 2,000 lower than the queen. You got it. 4,000. All of it higher. $4,000 higher than the 3. You got it. $8,000. There we go. 200 your first card's a queen. All of it lower. 200 lower than the queen. Got it. 400. All of it higher. 400 higher than the 3. Push. No win, no loss to it. 400. All of it higher. 400 higher than the 3. Got it. Yeah. We're going to move the 6 up. We'll give you another $400. You now have $1,200. Let's change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 6 is now a 4. All right, all of it higher. 1,200 higher than the 4. Got it. 2,400. 1,200 lower. 1,200 lower than the jack. You're right. All of it higher. 3,600 higher than the deuce. You got it. 7,200. Got about at least 3,600 of it. Let's change it with number 1. Number 1. All of it higher. 7,200 higher than the 3. You got it. $14,400. $200 first card's a 10. Let's change that card. Number 2. Number 2. 10's now an 8. $50 lower. $50 lower than the 8. No. You're down to $150. $75 lower. $75 lower than the 9. No. You're down to 75. $50 lower. $50 lower than the 10. There you go. 125. Gonna move the 6 up and give you another $400. You now have $525. Change that card. Number 1. Number 1. The 6 is now a 9. 175 lower. 175 lower than the 9. You got it. 700. 350 lower. 350 lower than the 7. You got it. All of it higher. 1,050 higher than the deuce. You got it. 2,100. This 1,050. Change it, number 3. All of it higher. Deuce, you got it. 4,200. 200 your first card's an ace. All of it lower. Lower than the ace for $200. You got it. 400. Change that card, number 2. Number 2. 10 is now an 8. What are you going to bet? 200 lower. $200 lower than the 8. No. You're down to 200. You have 10. 150 lower. 150 lower than the 10. No. You're down to $50, but we're going to move the jack up. Give you another $400. You now have 450. All of it lower. 450 lower than the jack. You got it. 900. Change it. Number 1. Number 1. 10 is now a jack. All of it lower. Yeah, you got it. 1,800. 900 lower. No. All of it lower. You got it. Another $1,800. Okay. Which one are you, Jesse?
Hat.
Who's the hat?
Jesse.
On the car? Alright, what would I see yours first? Club in.
Yeah.
Now this club in.
This couple red.
You look the box. You want those out?
Evil. Evil now.
See, that's what I say right about.